Extra lifetime, ladies and gents. Where's my little face at? There he is right there. We're talking about getting one-ups here. You're going to get a one-up today. Automating your business so that you can go do the things that you want to do. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. You don't got to be a tech expert either. So here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business, on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. All right, it's time for you to do that thing you do, drop the heat.
All right, all you business pros out there, before we jump into the show, just a quick reminder to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review. Help other like-minded business owners find value from our awesome guests while we rise up in those podcast rankings. We'll sincerely appreciate every single one of you for it. And if you want to be a guest on the show, we'd love to have you on and learn from you as well. Go to www.businessbros.biz, schedule your time, and don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms at Business Bros Pod. All right, everybody, we're so excited and honored to bring another incredible guest to the Business Bros Pod. You may have heard that Red Bull gives you wings, but today's awesome guest is the energy boost that makes your business fly. Our guest is creating automated solutions designed for small business growth, giving business owners the power to visually manage their business while automating and tracking lead gen, sales processes, internal tasks, and marketing efforts. If you're tired of doing the same repetitive tasks, feel like you're always playing catch up, and feel like you're missing out on potential business because you're too tied up with the busy work, customized automation solutions are what you need, and our guest can help you get there. Whether you want to automatically send estimates and presentations to your leads or automatically have calls, texts, and emails logged, build a system that will free up your time and make your business soar. Joining us today from Our Guest Gives You Bizwings out of Hermosa Beach, welcome to the show, Harry Abraham.
Ooh, yeah, that was some fire right there. What's up, Fabio? Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show.
Is it over? I think it's over, right? He just did it all, so we're good.
That's it. You happy with that? Okay, we can walk away. That's it.
That's it.
You
just
know
do
what?
a Google search, and that you don't need to know anything else. That's it.
That was incredible. Thank you so much for having me, guys. That was an incredible intro. Looking forward to talking with you guys. Listen to a lot of your podcasts. Love what you do. Love the energy. So let's keep it going.
Let's do this, man.
Woo.
All right, let's start off with the origin story, man. Tell me your background. How'd you get into this tech space?
Oh, man. Background. I've been in tech since I was a kid in terms of always being in tune with technology, been a gamer and whatnot. Grew up playing soccer, played pro soccer, went to law school to help small businesses grow. I've done a lot of things. My trajectory is crazy, but at the end of the day, I always knew that I wanted to own my business and I wanted to help other businesses. And
wait, hold up. You said you played pro soccer too?
For the San Diego Sockers, your hometown.
No way, dude. That's awesome. Damn. Exactly. All right. Okay. So soccer player turned tech. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Or should I say tech turned soccer player turned back to tech? Like you said you were going for a while.
I just wanted to throw that in there because San Diego is, reference.
Hell yeah.
So I became an attorney to help small businesses. I was always interested in working with entrepreneurs and startups for myself and for others. Helping companies build foundations for growth was important for me, right? Stability is key. As an attorney, you want to drive that home. But where my real energy and juices get flowing is when I start talking about how to scale a business, right? How to grow a business. And I find a lot of businesses with good ideas, good people with the right work ethic. But if they lack the final piece, whether that be implementing their knowledge into a system and then actually putting it into the right software, whether it be, a sales process that's optimized because you need to be on top of sales, right? You need to be responding to your customers fast, whether they don't know how to reach out outside of their current scope or get more brand exposure, all these things that kind of stop people. And so that's kind of how Bizwings was born. So Bizwings was born with myself and my co-founder, both identified that there was a problem in the market, right? That there was software that could accomplish a lot for people, but people didn't know what software to pick. And if they did, they don't know how to implement their business into the software quickly and effectively, right? So essentially, if when our clients meet us for the first time, they're usually saying, hey, I have a problem, I have this problem, that problem, and we're diagnosing the issue. And at the end of the day, we say, okay, you have 3 or 4 things that we want to address. What's the number one thing that we can fix for you, right? What's the one thing that you want the most out of this? So we always end up talking sales. I mean, it's,
Always
it's
comes
part
down
of
to
the
that.
business, right? So anyway, so we have
A lot of potential for aggressive expansion.
Sales can do that.
Absolutely, man. But you either have a sales team or you don't, or you're a small business owner that is paying attention to their client work or paying attention to what their business needs. And sales is kind of that after hours extra credit thing, right? So we come in and we're like, okay, tell me how your business operates. Tell me how your sales process operates. We'll find ways to improve that, and then we'll provide the right platform and implement it for them. And usually, if it's a small business, usually within 30 days, they're onboarded and they're using it. And we build it simple and effective for them.
What if they're solopreneurs, right? Their sales process is them. Like it's just they. When the phone rings, they answer it. When there's a text message, they get it, right? When they get an email, they're the ones responding. Like they're a one-man show. That's not really a process per se. Like, how do we help that guy?
Well, if they don't have a process, then we can recommend the right process. And we actually have essentially laid out a process that we find matches the most to small businesses, especially solopreneurs. I mean, I've been there myself, answering the calls, texts, emails all over the place. Well, they shouldn't be all over the place. They should be in one place, right? And they should be prioritized based on importance, whether that be size of the deal, time of the deal, whatever that may be. Now, most people, that's how a lot of people get into business, right? I'm sure you guys have talked to people. Hey, you start a business, you start making money, and all of a sudden you're just kind of like running around like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to figure out what to do next, right?
Yep.
And that's the time where you need to dive in and understand your business and understand what can be a process that can be systematized, and what do you need to do in that process, right? We don't want to pull you out of the things that need human touch, but what can be either automated or create templates for it so it goes out, very quickly, right? So it's process optimization and automation, but automation is kind of like the final frontier, because you have to understand, you have to map your business, and then only then can you automate the things that happen every single time when certain triggers are met.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Like Doc has it exactly right? I mean, the problem I think that a lot of entrepreneurs have is when they're running around like a chicken with their head cut off, they're only thinking of, I need to complete this next task. They're not thinking about what went into this task, right? What was the process that I had to go through to get this done? Because the trap that a lot of people fall into is that they don't automate a thing. They wear all the hats for a long time and then they burn out, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you address somebody who doesn't know they have a time problem right now? They went from working from somebody, right? And they had a boss and they were like, I can do this better, stumble upon this business that they have because they start generating revenue. But really what they did is now they just own their job. How do we get them to that next level? Like how do you pitch that to somebody so they see it?
I actually don't pitch them. I ask them to tell me what their biggest problems are. And oftentimes they'll try to speak to me in a certain way or try to tell me the things that they think I want to hear. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear from your perspective. Oh, this morning I was doing, I was working on client work for an hour. And then when I looked up, I realized I missed this, I missed that. I didn't send that email I needed to. And I missed some sales this morning, right? So I'm starting to realize that things are falling through the cracks, right? Okay, diagnosed, identified. Hey, I wasn't able to finish this because it takes me 3 hours and I have to change gears and it's the same thing every time, but I have to customize it. Well, how much of it do you have to customize? Can we template a portion of that, right? So the point of the exercise is to find out from their perspective, almost like selfishly. Tell me your dream. What are your 3 wishes? Oh, I wish that I had somebody watching over my business when this happened. I wish someone would send that email response every time the client asked that same thing. And you start to diagnose whether they have a growth problems, because everybody wants to grow their business. There's no question. But if you have a time problem, there's no solving the growth problem first, right? Because if I throw you 100 extra leads, you don't have time to manage those extra leads.
Right.
You only have a limited time. So if you're already bogged down, your bottleneck remains.
So then who is your ideal client, right? I mean, obviously you want to help the world, but you got to start somewhere. So what is the type of client that you're looking for? What does that business owner look like?
Any small business owner, usually smaller teams up to about 10 people that are, wearing multiple hats, but at the end of the day, they have a service-based business. And so that customer, it's not like a product that you're selling and it's like a digital commerce. It's a service that you need to convert some sort of customer or some sort of lead into a customer, right? And it's transformative for businesses because we're looking for businesses that want to have a digital presence. If you don't want a digital, if you're only brick and mortar, we have solutions for you, but it doesn't fit exactly. Looking at the future, if you're not capturing leads in your sleep and qualifying them and nurturing them before you have time to pick up the phone or before you get that call from them, you're losing trust already, because what happens is people are searching on Google and they find somebody. Maybe they come to your website. If they submit an inquiry and they don't get a feedback within 5 minutes, they're probably looking at someone else's website. So whoever is catching them first is going to get the first trust, the first rapport and whatnot. So it's important to put your best foot forward at every step of the process.
Dude, instant gratification. I want to know right now. Tell me right now. I have a problem. Let me know the answer right now. I mean, dude, the other day my electronic lock on my door was like clicking, right? And I was like, dude, my wife's like, hey, that's got to get fixed. And I was like, cool. What do? I bust out my phone. I go on YouTube. I look for the answer as quick as possible. We live in that era. We're moving to a metaverse. I mean, you saw Facebook changing their name to a metaverse, like this whole different world that lives in technology. But there's an entire generation of people who are afraid of it because they don't understand it. So let's say you're talking to that entrepreneur who isn't tech savvy. They know they need automation now, right? You've identified some problems. I just don't, dude, a keyboard, I barely can touch my phone without freaking out, right? So how can you help those people?
So usually it's a mindset shift. Those people are not used to technology, and when they try to implement it, it's scary, it's difficult, it's change. Nobody likes change. But at this point where technology has come to, you're risking your business becoming extinct if you don't adapt and adopt something, right? Now, I'm not saying you should adapt some crazy technical, complex platform. We can simplify it for you. So the easiest way I explain it to them is they're used to keeping their business in their brain. Their processes are here. They know what they need to do next. But every time something's done, they have to process that. Okay, what do I do next? Okay, what do I do next? Okay. And someone on my team, I tell them what to do next. And these are minor time spent expenditures that add up to a lot. So if you already know how your business works, all I'm asking is for you to explain it to me so that we can map it out into a process. Once you visualize that and you actually see it, it's usually pretty eye-opening for them. And it's rewarding for us, because that's the secret, right? Like, understanding your business and putting it into a system that makes sense is a big part of it. And after that, the technology is where they're a little more inclined to using, because they see it, and this visual presentation of their business literally goes into the technology. You'll be able to visually manage your business in that way. And then it starts to...
I surrender to your will!
Yes, that's exactly it, dude. That's exactly it, right? But eventually that's where they get to, like, okay, I understand. I surrender to your will. I get it. This is what I'm going to do. So let's talk about Bizwings itself, right? The company itself. Tell me, how long has it been around? Where are you at today as a company? Where do you see yourselves going, speaking of vision?
We've only been technically around for 1.5 years. Where we go in vision is scaling from helping these small businesses into scaling into larger businesses, but not big businesses. If you look at how many thousands of businesses there are in the country, and the service that we're providing, there's a whole plethora of industries and verticals that we want to help, right? And usually if you have high value customers, or if you have high volume, of customers, either one of those is going to put you in a category where you either have to be focused on this one client, and you can't be paying attention to the other things in your business, or you have so many people coming through that you need to be pumping through with the system. Those are the two places that we like to live, that we usually can optimize the most.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this then. You're going out and getting exposure for your company. Obviously, in no matter what business you're in, whether you're helping businesses or you're in the business of helping businesses, You need to do marketing. You're on our podcast. What's the purpose for you being on the show? Like, what are you looking to attain?
I'd like to talk to you guys to hear your questions about my business, because I like what you guys provide to your audience. I like the questions you ask. You guys are really knowledgeable. You guys provide a really good service yourself, the whole testimonial capture. I mean, we have a review capture. It's a little simpler, but we automate that part of the process because it's so critical. If you want organic growth for your business, well, you need a good digital presence. And how do you get that? Well, take credit for your work. When you have a happy customer, make sure you get that review. So anyway, I went on a tangent, but the point is you guys understand what businesses need to survive and to grow in this digital world. And so I want to hear the tough questions from you.
Oh, nice. All right, cool. Well, then let's dig into Bizwings itself. When you started this company, was it like completely bootstrapped? Are you guys like in funding phases? Like, what's the company look like, the structure?
No funding needed, usually under 10 people at a time on the team. We don't need funding because we're able to implement within 30 days for most of these businesses. Now, that when you ask me what's the future goal for Bizwings, I would say to stay within that, never grow beyond where we can deliver quick, fast results. Because if we're starting to build things that take a year, and it's a long implementation process. There are big businesses that do that for enterprise level businesses. If you have that much data that you need to track in your business, well, then there are other solutions, and they're not really the bang for your buck for small businesses. So we like to stay in there. So I just want to help more and more businesses. And I know that this is a scalable solution that we provide. So the more and more people need help, we can grow our business to help more and more people and make sure that they're transforming their business for the digital frontier that is already here.
So more bang for the buck. So what does it look like? If the problem with
I have a
younger,
question.
yeah.
Go
I have
for
a
it.
question. I want to ask about your team. Like, I'm working with someone right now. We're doing a lot of automation for our insurance company as well. I'm working really closely with this guy, and he's got a, pretty awesome team going. So I want to hear from you. Like, what does your team look like, and like, what are some of the roles like within your company to make sure that the product is being delivered, the automations are being delivered to the right client every time? Like, because I feel like it's every customer is going to be so different. Every business is so different, so unique. So like, how do you approach that? How do you and your team approach each unique business?
Every business has their own unique issues, but if they don't have, the basic elements that most businesses need, then that's part of this, secret recipe that's required in order to grow, right? You need certain things in place. When you ask about who on the team, I would highlight my co-founder, Chris, who, you guys should round two with him because he is amazing. He is an incredible mind. He's been coding since he was a kid. So, if we needed to code our own solution in, which we sometimes do because we do custom integrations and we do custom automations and stuff for clients, we can. But we also like to use, the coding mind of his with the system mind of mine, put them together, create something that's simple and because of the automations effective for the customer, so we can do it really fast. I would say if you were to challenge Chris, I would just say, bring him on the show and say, hey, Chris, I challenge you. I'm going to say, can you do this? And just watch him on the fly. And we can make a podcast just based on that. I swear.
Well, there you go. Daniel Frickles is Fricky, I think is how you say his last name. Is I'm interested. Info at Clean Edie by Echo.
Clean by Echo, yeah.
Clean by Echo.
Anyway,
there you go. Sometimes when it's like that. All right, dude. So James, systems is kind of up your alley, dude. Like
I know. I wanted to dig in even more. I'm like, because this is so fun. Like I love automations. Automations are like the key to everything for me. It's like if things are automated, it makes things so much easier. I'll tell you one that I've been struggling with a little bit, which is follow-up automations. Have you worked with anybody to create follow-up automations so that they can maintain a good follow-up sales cycle?
Absolutely. I mean, it's critical for sales, following up, keeping everything fresh,
exactly,
and striking while the iron's hot. I think you mentioned insurance, right? I know you're the insurance guy.
Yep.
That's everything in insurance, isn't it? I mean, you get leads left and right, but who's following up, almost like it sounds annoying with the amount of follow-up, but you're catching people in their daily task. You're disrupting them when you call them and you reach out. But once they're in your funnel, you got to close them because they need insurance. They're going to buy it from you.
He ain't lying.
You ain't lying.
Yeah, they need insurance.
Yeah.
But
We
tell
all
me
do.
about the follow-ups.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
I'm curious
well-
about some of the experience that you've had.
Yeah. Well, what kind of follow-up are you looking for? Is it a call follow-up? Is it a text follow-up? Is it an email follow-up? Is it based on the behavioral actions of the person when they read that email or they open that text? Are you putting triggers that automate, okay, if they click yes, then it goes into some sort of platform that notifies you? I mean, there's a million things we can do. The question is, what do you need done?
I mean, all of it. I'm fascinated by it, like the how it gets done. Do you talked about coding? I have a little bit of experience with high level that was able to do some of that stuff. Like, what kinds of stuff do you guys use to create these automations? Do you use Zapier at all?
We've used Zapier before. We use several platforms. There's certain ones that we prefer over others. It just depends on what you need, because remember, we're talking sales right now, but there's also business process automation, right? So if somebody wants some sort of estimate that's created automatically so that they don't have to spend that time on every customer, well, then that's a little more complex. I might even be custom coding, right? But we try to stay away from that, because usually there's a bigger bang for a buck when a business wants to break through some sort of plateau or barrier, where we can implement something that's a simple process that helps them save time, nurture more customers, have their task reminders on them so that they don't have to think about what they need to do next, right? That simple recipe is so applicable for so many businesses that we usually start there, right? Now, if you're saying, hey, I'm already there, I want to get to that next level, then I'd say, okay, what's that one task or follow-up that get you the biggest bang for your buck every time you do it? You wish it would always happen.
That's funny, man. I'm thinking right in my head, renewals. Like, that's the thing that pops into my mind. That's it, right? That's where it really comes down to. Because at the end of the day, and James and I talk about this all the time. For the insurance business, it's keeping that customer long term, right? Acquiring the customer can get so expensive for businesses, and oftentimes they don't even know how much they're spending to acquire a customer. But maintaining and keeping that customer long term is where the money's at. That follow-up process, I mean, you're exactly right. The triggers that you can set up. I was actually really fascinated when you said behaviors when reading an email. Like, tell me, like, that's something that we can do?
Absolutely. I mean, you can heat map your website, right? So you know where people are looking, right? That behavior can be a trigger, and it could classify your person as a different type of lead. There's very complex things that we can do. Same thing in an email. Which link are they clicking? Where does that put them in terms of your follow-up? And to really dive in, I would say, in specifically regards to insurance, okay, if renewals matter to you, then you want to make sure that when renewal time comes, you have a personal relationship with that person. They trust your business and you, or whoever's going to pick up the phone to get that renewal and make sure that they actually click through, right? So what happens soon before that you can do? Maybe there's a holiday, maybe there's something you can call them and just remind them that you're there, right? That just develop the rapport right before that happens, so that you can have that renewal with a higher likelihood. I mean, what's a renewal for you guys? It's increasing your lifetime value of that customer for another year or another term, right?
Exactly.
That's everything, because you've already done the work up front. You've got them as a customer. So now you just want to repeat them as a customer, which means they just have to be happy with the process. So reverse engineer it from renewals. They have to be happy here. What happens right before that? How can I have a touch point with them? Whether it's text, call, email, whatnot. How can I differentiate myself from my competitors who also know, hey, that's the date they signed up for insurance. They're coming up for renewal. Now they're getting bombarded with ads and people probably cold calling them. You have competition there. So you want to make sure that they know you're different and that you personally care about them. I would do something along those lines.
Dude, that is money. Daniel's got it right, dude. That's good stuff right there. That's some practical and tactical advice that anybody can implement. I mean, we said it for insurance, but let's be honest, like, there is a time when something's going to renew. There is a time when you want to re-up with your customer. Your lease is about to end, whatever it is in your business. And having those touch points ahead of time to lay down the groundwork for your relationship, because that's really what it comes down to. Dude, we talked to so many different people on the show, people who are really successful. And when I ask them what's their number one thing, it always comes down to the relationships. And what you described here is how to take the complexity of the human relationship and literally plan it and automate it so that it's there, so that you don't have to think about it. It kind of reminds me of like the honey-do list. Like your job is to create the honey-do list that never ends, that the tasks are there. So when I wake up in the morning and I get ready to go to work, I open up my laptop, I open up my phone, and that's it. I know exactly what I'm doing every single point of the way. And it's only pushing.
I have
me
another
forward.
question. Is there any maintenance that's required? Like once the automation is set, does it ever like, I don't know, go wrong? Does it ever like get plugged up, or like what kind of maintenance is required? Do I have to hire you again in a year to like rewrite my automations as business like changes? What does that look like?
No, good question. You nailed it. So it's not required, but we usually do it with customers, because what happens is after 30 days, we'll stay on board for another 30 days. Let's just call it that. 30 days plus 30 days of maintenance, making sure everything's going well, making sure that nothing needs to be tweaked, right? After that, it's up to them whether they want to keep us. But we'll usually do at least a year, because people want us on board to tweak and optimize, and they realize that this is a great start. But as they go and they've learned now how to optimize their own system, they can just ping us and, hey, we can tweak this, we can tweak that, we can upgrade little things, we can add automations as we go. Obviously, it's not the same package as it was in the beginning. That's where most of the work is. But yeah, whether we're on board or not, clients are happy to come back and we can do more things for them. We've actually had customers even come back to do like full custom coded builds, which it's really fun once you get to those, those custom needs. But we've already done the biggest bang for the buck, which is kind of like our standard optimization solution that we recommend for most customers.
What about the front end, right? The top part of the funnel, the lead generation, the bringing in new customers and then getting them into the funnel. Is that something that you guys do as well?
We do. We can help, but here's the caveat. I also was COO of an advertising agency, a digital advertising agency. And in that time, and actually before that, I was in the sales role. In that time, I realized we're sending a lot of leads to these customers, and the customers may not be able to qualify and convert those leads into clients, right? So what's the point of doing this crazy advertising if you're, again, bogged down or capped out, right? So you need this first. This is foundational for growth. If you have this, then we can plug in SEO, Google Ads, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. And of course, there's top of funnel. Yeah. So you get me, James, right?
Yep.
He's been making that argument forever.
It's the cart before the horse, man. It's like
absolutely.
You're trying to get 100 leads, like you said, but if you can't manage the 10, like, but the systems, the automations, like take so much more of that off the plate, so that the salesperson, the business owner, has more time to generate more leads.
And think of it this way. If you run a small business and you're constantly in your head, what do I need to do next? I got to-do lists here. I got 4 different pieces of software I'm checking in on. You're kind of scatterbrained. You're stressed. It stresses you out. So when you have something simple that you can dive into and you see all the text, emails, communication relating to that lead, the whole customer file and history is in one place, where you see what status they are in with your business, who's catering to them, whose responsibility is it for the next act. You don't have to think about it anymore. You just dive in. You say, hey, what's my to-do list based on the system that I've already implemented? And you could just go at it, and you're a lot more efficient, and it's less stressful as a result.
Yeah, you're way more efficient because you've already asked those questions up front. Like, these are your biggest problems. So as soon as you remove those problems, all of a sudden this entrepreneurship thing starts to turn into a fun thing. The reason why you got into it, more flexibility, more time, more money in your pocket, the reason why we're in business in the first place. Harry, dude, it's been one great ass show today, dude. I mean, we hit you with some crazy questions this time around. I've been telling James to hop in here. I know he has questions every once in a while. I was like, dude, you need to do this. You need to just hop in and ask the questions. And you were the greatest guest to do this with. Let me ask you, man, 30 minutes on the show.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Exactly. Right on, Ham. Right on.
Yeah.
So, Harry, like, we're big on testimonials. What did you think of the podcast, man? What did you think of this episode?
I absolutely loved it. This was so fun. Can we do an extra? Let's just keep recording for another hour. If we're not live, whatever. This is super fun. Next time, let's do it in person. How about that?
You're close enough, man. You're close enough. And that's, it's funny. James and I have been talking a lot about what's the fun shit that we want to do? James, what's your number one thing? Live a full life.
Live a
right?
full
That was
life.
on your agenda. So part of that is, getting out and meeting with some people every once in a while, putting in together some events every once in a while. So, dude, I'm down with that. Like, that's something. Plus, you're in Hermosa Beach, dude. I mean, you come to San Diego, we can go up there.
He's in San Diego. He's right there in PB, real close to you guys.
Oh, perfect.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll finally get James's RV rolling again. We'll hit up PB and just park it out there.
Nice.
All right, Harry, man.
Thank you so much, guys.
Before we head out, like, you gave so much information, so many ways to help people, some practical and tactical advice. What can people do? Where can they find you to get more information?
I would say for people that want to learn a little bit more about specifically our methodology and this practice of taking your business and implementing it into a process and then a system that can be automated, I would go to getbizwings.com/GYB. That's for grow your business. So we have kind of like a short video explaining our process, explaining how we can implement this into your sales process. And we'll touch on the things that we touched on today, like instantly greeting online visitors, providing a company presentation to show what you do and gain their trust from the first instant, visually managing your sales process, automating things and making sure all communications are in the same place, and at the end, getting positive reviews at the right time. So all of that is kind of a process, but you have to understand how we can visually map that, right? So I think if you go there, getbizwings.com/GYB, you'll get a good understanding, and you're free to give us a call. We have free consultations all the time. Just tell us what your biggest problem is, and I'm pretty sure we have a solution.
That's what it's all about, ladies and gents. The greatest entrepreneurs out there look at opportunities that are presented as problems, but realize that the more problems they solve, the more money they're going to make. Solve 1 million problems, make $1 million, or solve one problem worth $1 million. Completely up to you. But that's really what it comes down to, dude. Again, ladies and gents, I always talk about this. If you're in business and you don't know what you're doing, you're just kind of really good at that one thing that you do, but you don't know how to run a business, you need a mentor. You need people who are good at these types of things. It says nothing about your skills or your status. All the big players, entrepreneurship is a team sport. It's not a solo sport. You're not going to make it by yourself. You're going to burn yourself out. People like Harry are helping you develop systems, put them in place so that you guys can go enjoy the perks of building a business, not stuck owning your own job. So make sure you guys check it out. He offered you some great free video stuff to see what's going on. Just go to www.getbizwings.com/GYB. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Make sure you guys check it out. And of course, we'd love if you guys subscribe to our stuff so you can see what entrepreneurs are coming through every single day. Learn something new. You're an entrepreneur. You have an idea. These people have stepped in shit their whole careers. We all do. Might as well learn from the shit that they stepped in so you don't do the same thing. We'll see you guys again next time. Peace. And we're out.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.